Have you ever felt that something in your life just isn't right? Like a dark cloud following you, bringing bad luck and difficulties that seem to have no explanation. Today, I'm going to share with you a powerful message that Pope John Paul, who'd often reflected upon, inspired by the profound wisdom of Padre Pio, about 5 things we should never accept from others. You see, my dear friends, in our modern world, we often overlook the spiritual significance of everyday actions. We accept gifts without thinking twice, take advice from anyone who offers it, and welcome favors that might come with hidden strings attached. But what if I told you that these simple actions could be the very reason why some people struggle with constant problems in their lives? Pope John Paul II, in his deep spiritual wisdom, understood something crucial about human nature and the invisible forces that affect our daily lives. He knew that not everything that appears innocent actually is. Sometimes, the smallest decisions we make can open doors to negative influences that affect our health, our finances, and even our family harmony. I remember meeting Sarah from Boston last month. She came to me crying, completely desperate. Her life had turned upside down after accepting what seemed to be an innocent gift from a co-worker. Strange things started happening. Her business began failing, her relationships became strained, and she couldn't sleep at night. What she didn't know was that sometimes objects can carry more than just material value. This story opened my eyes to how important it is to share this message with you today. Before we dive deeper into these 5 crucial things you should never accept, I want you to take a moment and think, have you been experiencing unexplained difficulties in your life? Do you feel like something is blocking your path to happiness and prosperity? If you're already feeling that this message resonates with your current situation, take a moment to share your experience in the comments below. Your story might help someone else who's going through similar challenges. Remember, what I'm about to reveal isn't just ancient wisdom. It's a practical guide that could transform your life, just as it has transformed the lives of countless others who have applied these teachings. Are you ready to discover these 5 powerful truths that could be the key to unlocking a more blessed and prosperous life? Let's begin with something Pope John Paul II always emphasized. Our spiritual well-being is directly connected to the choices we make every day. Think about it like this. Your life is like a beautiful garden. Just as you wouldn't let anyone throw harmful substances into your garden, you shouldn't allow certain influences into your life. The first thing we need to understand is that negativity doesn't always come with a warning label. It often disguises itself as kindness, generosity, or friendly advice. Pope John Paul II, in his conversations with faithful followers, would often share how the simplest things, a gift, a piece of advice, or even a favor, could sometimes carry hidden spiritual burdens. Let me tell you about Michael, a successful businessman from Chicago. He always prided himself on being a rational, practical person who didn't believe in spiritual stuff. That was until his life began spiraling downward after accepting what seemed to be a generous business offer from someone he barely knew. Within months, his thriving company faced unexpected problems, his health deteriorated, and his family life became chaotic. You see, my friends, prosperity isn't just about money in the bank. It's about maintaining a clean and positive spiritual environment around you. Just as you lock your doors at night to keep your home safe, you need spiritual discernment to protect your life from negative influences. Pope John Paul II taught us that true prosperity comes when we align ourselves with positive spiritual forces. He understood that sometimes what appears to be a blessing on the surface might actually be carrying hidden dangers. This doesn't mean we should become paranoid or distrustful of everyone, but rather that we should develop wisdom and discernment. In our daily interactions, think of your life as a sacred space. Would you let just anyone walk into your home and rearrange your furniture? Of course not. Yet sometimes we let people's negative energy, toxic advice, and harmful intentions freely enter our spiritual space without even realizing it. The good news is that once you understand these principles, you can start making better choices that will protect your prosperity, health, and peace of mind. This knowledge has helped thousands of people break free from cycles of bad luck and constant struggles. If you're finding value in these insights and want to continue receiving more life-changing spiritual wisdom, make sure to subscribe to our channel. This is just the beginning of the powerful truths we're about to uncover. Now, let's delve deeper into the first of these 5 crucial things that Pope John Paul II warned us about, and why they could be secretly affecting your life right now. The first thing Pope John Paul II cautioned us about is accepting gifts without discernment. Now you might be thinking, but gifts are good, right? Well, not always. The Pope, drawing from Padre Pio's insights, taught that objects can carry spiritual energy, both positive and negative. Think about it this way: when someone gives you a gift, they're not just giving you an object. They're also passing on their energy, their intentions, and sometimes their hidden feelings. If those intentions are pure and loving, that's wonderful. But what if they're not? Let me share a story that illustrates this perfectly. Emily, a young teacher from London, received a beautiful antique necklace from her aunt. At first, she was thrilled, but soon after she started wearing it, strange things began happening. She had trouble sleeping, her students became unusually difficult to manage, and she felt constantly drained of energy. It wasn't until Emily spoke with her parish priest that she realized the necklace might be the source of her problems. You see, her aunt had always been jealous of Emily's success and happiness. The gift wasn't given out of love, but out of envy. Once Emily stopped wearing the necklace, her life quickly returned to normal. Pope John Paul II emphasized that we should be especially careful with certain types of gifts. Objects with unknown history or from questionable sources, gifts given grudgingly or out of obligation. Items that make you feel uncomfortable or uneasy for no apparent reason. But don't worry. This doesn't mean you need to refuse every gift that comes your way. The key is to trust your instincts and be mindful of the giver's intentions. If you feel genuine love and goodwill behind a gift, it's likely to bring blessings into your life. The Pope also taught us a simple yet powerful practice: blessing our gifts. When you receive something new, take a moment to pray over it, asking for any negative energy to be cleansed and for God's blessings to fill the object instead. Remember, the material world and the spiritual world are more connected than we often realize. Just as we're careful about what food we put into our bodies, we should be equally mindful about the spiritual energy we allow into our lives through the objects we keep around us. By being more aware and discerning about the gifts we accept, we're not being ungrateful, we're actually practicing good spiritual hygiene. We're protecting our peace, our prosperity, and our well-being. As we move forward, keep in mind that this principle of discernment applies to more than just physical gifts. It extends to the advice we accept, the favors we receive, and even the relationships we cultivate. Each of these can be a gift in its own right, but like any gift, they can carry hidden influences that shape our lives in ways we might not immediately see. Let's talk about something that touches all of our lives: words. Pope John Paul II, echoing the wisdom of Padre Pio, often spoke about the power of words and how they can shape our reality. He warned us to be cautious about the second thing we should never blindly accept: negative or toxic words from others. I remember counseling a young man named David from Dublin. He was incredibly talented, but constantly doubted himself. When we dug deeper, We discovered that his lack of confidence stemmed from years of his father telling him he'd never amount to anything. Those words, though just sounds in the air, had created invisible chains, holding David back from his true potential. You see, words carry energy. They can lift us up or tear us down. They can inspire us to reach for the stars or convince us we're not worthy of even trying. Pope John Paul II understood this deeply. He taught that we must be guardians of our minds, carefully filtering the words we allow to take root in our hearts. Here's a powerful story that illustrates this point. Sarah, a small business owner from New York, was on the verge of giving up her dream. Everyone around her said she was foolish for trying, that her business would fail. But then she remembered something her grandmother used to say, "God's whisper is louder than the world's shouts." Sarah chose to listen to that inner voice of encouragement instead of the negative chorus around her. Today, her business is thriving, and she's helping other women follow their dreams too. The Pope's teaching reminds us that we have a choice in what we accept as truth. Just because someone says something, even if they're an authority figure in our lives, doesn't mean we have to believe it. We need to weigh words against our faith, our values, and our God-given intuition. But how do we protect ourselves from these negative influences? Pope John Paul II suggested a beautiful practice. Surround yourself with uplifting words. Read inspiring books, listen to positive messages, and seek out people who speak life and encouragement into your world. He believed that by filling our minds with good words, we create a shield against the negative ones that try to sneak in. Remember, my friends, you have the power to choose which words you accept and which ones you let go. Every day, make a conscious decision to embrace words that uplift, inspire, and align with your faith. Let go of the words that drag you down or make you doubt your worth. As we continue on this journey of spiritual growth and protection, I invite you to reflect on the words that have shaped your life. Are there any negative phrases you've accepted as truth that might be holding you back? It's time to replace them with words of faith, hope, and love. If you're finding these insights valuable and want to continue receiving more life-changing spiritual wisdom, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Together, we'll explore how to create a life filled with positive, empowering words that reflect the love and grace of God. Now let's dive into something that might surprise you. Pope John Paul II, in his wisdom, often spoke about the importance of being cautious with money, especially when it comes from unexpected or questionable sources. This brings us to our third point. Be wary of accepting money that comes too easily or with strings attached. Imagine this scenario. You're struggling to pay your bills, and suddenly, an old acquaintance offers you a large sum of money. It seems like an answer to your prayers, right? But here's where we need to pause and reflect. The Pope taught us that not all financial opportunities are blessings in disguise. Sometimes they can be tests of our integrity or even traps that lead us astray. Let me tell you about Tom from Manchester. He was going through tough times when a friend offered him a chance to make quick money through a foolproof scheme. It sounded too good to be true, but Tom was desperate. He took the offer only to find himself entangled in a fraudulent operation that cost him not just money, but his reputation and peace of mind. You see, money isn't just a piece of paper or numbers in a bank account. It carries energy, the energy of how it was earned and the intentions behind it. When we accept money from dubious sources, we risk inviting that negative energy into our lives. It's like planting a seed of discord in our spiritual garden. Pope John Paul II reminded us that true prosperity comes from honest work and clean intentions. He encouraged believers to trust in God's providence rather than seeking shortcuts or easy money. This doesn't mean we should refuse all financial help, not at all. It means we should discern the source and the motives behind any financial offer we receive. Here's a practical tip. Whenever you're faced with a financial opportunity, take a moment to pray about it. Ask for guidance and clarity. If you feel a sense of unease, or if the offer requires you to compromise your values, it's probably best to politely decline. Remember the story of Peter in the Bible? When Simon the sorcerer offered money to buy the power of the Holy Spirit, Peter firmly rejected it, saying, "May your money perish with you, because you thought you could buy the gift of God with money." This teaches us that some things are more valuable than financial gain: our integrity, our peace of mind, and our spiritual well-being. It's also important to be mindful of loans or financial favors from friends or family. While they might seem harmless, they can sometimes create unseen tensions or obligations that strain relationships. The Pope advised us to be clear about terms and intentions when it comes to money matters, even with loved ones. By being cautious about the money we accept, we're not just protecting our bank accounts, we're safeguarding our spiritual health. We're choosing to trust in God's provision and to value integrity over quick gains. As we reflect on this, I encourage you to examine your own relationship with money. Are there any financial decisions or opportunities you need to reassess? Remember, true wealth isn't just about what's in your wallet, it's about the peace in your heart and the blessings in your life. Now let's delve into something that might surprise you. Pope John Paul II, drawing from the teachings of Padre Pio, often spoke about the spiritual dangers of accepting money or financial gains from questionable sources. This is the third thing we should be cautious about in our lives. You might be wondering, how can money be bad? Isn't all money the same? Well, my friends, in the material world, a dollar is a dollar. But in the spiritual realm, the energy attached to money can vary greatly depending on its source. Let me share a story that illustrates this point perfectly. Tom, a hard-working man from Manchester, was struggling to make ends meet. One day, a friend offered him a chance to make some quick cash through a scheme that wasn't exactly legal. Tom, desperate and seeing no other option, agreed. At first, things seemed to improve. He could pay his bills, even buy some luxuries. But soon, strange things started happening. His relationships became strained, he couldn't sleep at night, and he felt a constant sense of unease. You see, the money Tom earned came with a heavy spiritual price tag. It carried the energy of dishonesty and harm, which began to manifest in his life in various negative ways. This is exactly what Pope John Paul II warned about. Money earned through dishonest or harmful means can bring more trouble than it's worth. But it's not just about illegal activities. The Pope's teachings extend to any money gained through means that go against our values or harm others. This could include taking advantage of someone's misfortune, overcharging customers, or even accepting payment for work we know we didn't do well. So how can we apply this wisdom in our daily lives? First, we need to be mindful of the sources of our income. Are we earning our money through honest work that brings value to others? Are our business practices ethical and fair? These are questions we should regularly ask ourselves. Secondly, we should be cautious about financial opportunities that seem too good to be true. If someone offers you a chance to make money quickly and easily, take a step back and consider the spiritual implications. Is it aligned with your values? Could it potentially harm others? Pope John Paul II taught that true prosperity comes not just from the amount of money we have, but from the peace of mind that comes with knowing we've earned it honestly and ethically. He believed that when we align our financial practices with our spiritual values, we open ourselves up to genuine blessings. Remember, my friends, every financial decision we make has a spiritual component. By being mindful of how we earn and spend our money, we're not just managing our finances, we're taking care of our souls. As we continue to explore these important spiritual principles, I encourage you to reflect on your own relationship with money. Are there any areas where you might need to make changes? Trust that by aligning your financial life with your spiritual values, you're paving the way for true abundance and peace in your life. Let's move on to the fourth crucial point that Pope John Paul II, inspired by Padre Pio's teachings, often emphasized: be cautious about accepting favors or help that come with strings attached. This wisdom is more relevant than ever in our modern world, where kindness can sometimes be a mask for manipulation. Imagine you're at work and a colleague offers to cover your shift. No questions asked. Sounds great, right? But what if that same colleague later starts asking for favors that make you uncomfortable, reminding you of how they helped you out? This is exactly the kind of situation the Pope warned us about. I remember counseling Lisa, a young professional from Toronto. She accepted help from her boss to secure a promotion, only to find herself in a compromising position later when he asked her to falsify some reports. Lisa felt trapped, caught between her gratitude and her integrity. This is the hidden cost of favors that aren't truly free. You see, true kindness, as Pope John Paul II taught, doesn't keep score. It doesn't create a debt that needs to be repaid. When we accept help or favors, we need to be discerning about the motives behind them. Are they offered out of genuine care and compassion, or is there an underlying expectation of return? This doesn't mean we should become cynical and refuse all help. Far from it. The Pope encouraged a spirit of community and mutual support, but he also advised us to trust our instincts. If something feels off about an offer of help, it's okay to politely decline. Here's a simple way to apply this wisdom in your life. Before accepting a significant favor, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, am I comfortable with what this person might expect in return? If the answer is no, or if you're unsure, it's better to find another solution. Remember, true friends and good-hearted people will offer help without expecting anything in return. They understand that the joy of giving is a reward in itself. These are the kinds of relationships we should nurture and cherish. Pope John Paul II also reminded us that it's not just about protecting ourselves. By being discerning about the favors we accept, we're also maintaining the purity of our own intentions when we help others. We learn to give freely, without hidden agendas or expectations. In our journey through life, we'll encounter many opportunities to give and receive help. The key is to approach these situations with wisdom and clarity. When we do accept help, let's do so with genuine gratitude, but also with the understanding that our integrity is not for sale. As we reflect on this teaching, I encourage you to think about the relationships in your life. Are there any where you feel an uncomfortable sense of obligation? It might be time to have an honest conversation or to set some healthy boundaries. By being mindful of the favors we accept, we're not just protecting ourselves from manipulation. We're creating space for authentic, loving relationships to flourish. We're building a community based on genuine care and mutual respect, just as Pope John Paul II envisioned for all of us. As we near the end of our journey through Pope John Paul II's wisdom, let's explore the fifth and final thing he warned us to be cautious about: toxic relationships. This teaching, deeply rooted in spiritual understanding, reminds us that the company we keep can profoundly impact our lives, both spiritually and emotionally. Think about your closest friends for a moment. How do you feel after spending time with them? Do you leave feeling energized and positive, or drained and negative? Pope John Paul II, drawing from Padre Pio's insights, taught that our relationships are like spiritual bridges. They can either connect us to sources of light and love, or lead us into darkness and despair. Let me share a story about Rachel from Sydney. She had a friend she'd known since childhood. They were inseparable, but as they grew older, Rachel noticed something troubling. Whenever they met, her friend would constantly complain, criticize others, and spread gossip. Rachel always felt exhausted and negative after these encounters. It wasn't until she spoke with her parish priest that she realized this friendship was affecting her spiritual well-being. You see, negative people can act like emotional vampires, draining our energy and clouding our spiritual vision. They can pull us away from our path of faith and personal growth, often without us even realizing it. Pope John Paul II emphasized that while we should show love and compassion to all, we must also protect our spiritual health. This doesn't mean we should abandon people who are going through tough times. Not at all. The Pope taught that we should offer support and prayers to those in need. However, there's a difference between someone going through a difficult phase and someone who consistently brings negativity into our lives. So, how can we apply this wisdom? Start by paying attention to how you feel after interacting with people in your life. Do certain individuals consistently leave you feeling down, doubtful, or drained? It might be time to create some healthy boundaries. Remember, setting boundaries isn't about being unkind. It's about taking care of your spiritual and emotional health so you can be your best self and truly help others. Sometimes, the most loving thing we can do is to step back and pray for someone from a distance. Pope John Paul II also encouraged us to actively seek out positive, uplifting relationships. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who support your faith, and who bring out the best in you. These relationships are precious gifts that nurture our souls and help us grow closer to God. As you reflect on your relationships, ask yourself, who are the people that inspire me to be a better person? Who encourages my faith and supports my dreams? These are the relationships to cherish and nurture. By being mindful of the company we keep, we're not just protecting ourselves, we're creating an environment where love, faith, and positivity can flourish. We're building a community that reflects the love and grace of God, just as Pope John Paul II envisioned. As we come to the end of this powerful message, I want you to know that you have the strength and wisdom within you to make these important choices in your life. Trust in God's guidance and have the courage to surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. My dear friends, as we come to the end of our journey today, I want you to take a moment to reflect on the profound wisdom we've explored together. Pope John Paul II, inspired by the teachings of Padre Pio, has given us a spiritual roadmap to navigate the complexities of modern life. These 5 principles we've discussed are not just rules to follow, but gateways to a more blessed, peaceful, and prosperous life. Think about it. Every day, we're faced with choices. Choices about what to accept into our lives, who to trust, and how to interact with the world around us. These choices, no matter how small they might seem, have the power to shape our destiny. They're like seeds we plant in the garden of our souls. Some will grow into beautiful flowers of joy and peace, while others might sprout into weeds of trouble and distress. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine your life as a beautiful, sacred space. A space where God's love flows freely, where blessings abound, and where you can truly flourish. Now ask yourself, are there any gifts, words, money, favors, or relationships that you've allowed into this space that might be blocking God's blessings? Remember Sarah from Boston, David from Dublin, Tom from Manchester, Lisa from Toronto, and Rachel from Sydney. Their stories remind us that we're not alone in facing these challenges. But more importantly, they show us that with awareness and faith, we can overcome any obstacle and transform our lives. Pope John Paul II believed deeply in the power of human will when aligned with divine grace. He taught that we are not helpless in the face of life's challenges. Instead, we are co-creators with God, capable of shaping our reality through our choices and actions. As you move forward from this moment, I challenge you to become more aware of what you're accepting into your life. Before you take that gift, listen to that advice, accept that money, agree to that favor, or deepen that relationship, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, does this align with my values? Will this bring me closer to God? Will this contribute to my spiritual growth and well-being? Remember, saying no to things that don't serve your highest good isn't selfish. It's an act of self-love and spiritual wisdom. It's about creating space for God's blessings to flow abundantly into your life. But don't just take my word for it. I invite you to put these teachings into practice. Start small, perhaps by blessing the gifts you receive, or by being more mindful of the words you allow to take root in your heart. As you do this, pay attention to how your life begins to change. I promise you, the results will be nothing short of miraculous. In closing, I want to remind you of something Pope John Paul II often said: do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to make changes in your life. Do not be afraid to set boundaries. Do not be afraid to seek a life that's aligned with your highest spiritual ideals. You are loved, you are blessed, and you have the power to create a life filled with joy, peace, and prosperity. Trust in God's guidance and have faith in your own ability to discern what's best for your spiritual journey. Thank you for joining me on this powerful exploration of spiritual wisdom. If you found value in these teachings, please don't keep them to yourself. Share this video with someone who might need to hear this message. Subscribe to our channel for more life-changing spiritual insights, and leave a comment below sharing how you plan to apply these teachings in your life. Remember, every small step you take towards aligning your life with these spiritual principles is a step towards a more blessed and fulfilling existence. May God bless you abundantly on your journey. Before we part ways, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me on this spiritual journey today. The wisdom we've explored together has the power to transform lives, and I truly believe that by applying these teachings, you can experience profound, positive changes in your own life. Now, I have a few important requests for you. First, if you found value in this message, please don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with your friends, family, or anyone you think might benefit from these spiritual insights. You never know whose life you might touch or what positive change you might spark. Secondly, I'd love to hear from you. How has this message resonated with you? Are there any specific areas in your life where you plan to apply these teachings? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your story could be the inspiration someone else needs to hear. If you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. We're committed to bringing you more of these life-changing spiritual messages, and I wouldn't want you to miss out on future insights that could bless your life. Lastly, remember that this spiritual journey is one we're all on together. By engaging with this community, sharing your experiences and supporting one another, we create a powerful circle of positive energy and growth. So go ahead, like this video, leave a comment, share it with others, and don't forget to subscribe. Your engagement not only helps our channel grow, but also spreads this important message to those who need it most. Thank you again for being here. May God bless you abundantly, guide your steps, and fill your life with His endless love and grace. Until next time, keep faith in your